In 1961, this surgeon had to operate on himself. Leonid Rogozov was on a research expedition in Antarctica when he started to feel weak. He also became nauseous and was developing a very intense pain on his side. As a surgeon, he's able to diagnose himself as having acute appendicitis. And he knew an operation was necessary to remove his appendix, and this was something he had done countless times. Although he was in the middle of the expedition with 11 other men, and he was the only doctor. The journey from Russia to Antarctica had taken 36 days by boat, and flying was out of the question because of blizzards. And the boat that brought them there wasn't returning until another year. He knew his appendix was a ticking time bomb that could burst at any minute. He wrote in his journal, "An oppressive feeling of foreboding hangs over me. This is it. I have to think through the only possible way out, to operate on myself. It's almost impossible, but I just can't fold my arms and give up." So he creates a detailed plan for the operation. He assigns a mechanic and a meteorologist to be his helpers, assigning them to do things like hold the medical equipment, the light, and also the mirror that he was going to use for his own reflection to operate on himself. He also assigns a backup to step in case one of the two men faint when he's operating on himself. He also provides a list of what to do in case he passes out during the surgery. He teaches the men how to properly inject him with adrenaline in case he loses consciousness, so this way he wakes back up. When it's time to perform the surgery, he injects himself with an anesthetic to his abdominal wall. But aside from that, he has no other pain relief because he has to keep his mind clear during the operation. The moment before he cuts into himself, he looks over at his two surgical assistants and he recalls that they were whiter than the surgical garments they were wearing. He would admit that he was scared too, but when he picked up the needle and injected himself, he switched into operating mode. While he's performing the operation on himself, he finds that the mirror is actually getting in the way, so he opts to not use it. He takes off his gloves and starts feeling on the insides of his intestines to do surgery by feel. It's at the last and most challenging part of his operation that he starts to feel weak, and he feels like he's going to pass out. He accidentally slices his own gut open, so he has to sew himself up quickly, and he's starting to bleed a lot. His head is spinning, and every 4 to 5 minutes he has to take a 20-second rest. His heart starts to seize, and it's becoming more difficult to move his fingers. With the last of his strength, he reaches his appendix, looks down at it horrified because he could see it's discolored, which is an indication that if he waited even a day longer, it would have burst. After a 2-hour operation, he manages to finish the job, sew himself up, and then before resting, he instructs the guys how to clean the surgical equipment properly before resting. He recovered for 2 weeks and then was back on duty like nothing happened. He survived and continued to live a great life after this expedition, and it's safe to say that this man had a lot of guts, if you get what I mean. I'm only doing a pun because he survived and it was a success and he's a total awesome badass.